back to the weekly sports magazine. Dynamic Dave here every Saturday morning. A few minutes ago in the show, by the way, we want to remind people, tweet me at Dynamic Sports Mag, Weekly Sports Magazine on Facebook, and of course the upcoming Weekly Sports Magazine website. We'll let you know about that as well. A lot of stuff to talk about, man. It's exciting. I want to take this moment here. We're going to, I talked earlier about Brandon Allen, the quarterback for the Arkansas Razorbacks, and all of a sudden the local media, or there are certain people in the local media who have decided that they want to have a moratorium on bad talk about Brandon Allen. Well, I'm going to talk about it this morning, okay? And I've talked about this before, and we're going to get into a little bit more. And certainly if you want to call the show, the number is 855-525-5683. That's how you get in touch with me. For the rest of the hour, it's wide open. You can talk to me if you want to call me, all right? But, there are a lot of people out there who don't want to talk bad about Brandon Allen. Well, let me just tell you something. For the last couple of years, Arkansas's quarterback situation has been abysmal. Now, I know there have been some other issues that have been going on with the Razorbacks. No ifs, ands, or buts. But don't get me started on Bobby Petrino. I never was a fan of his. I said as I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, and did my show in Nashville, I would tell the audiences there that Bobby Petrino was an accident waiting to happen, and I was not thrilled with it. He proved me right, unfortunately. Okay? So, never was a fan of his. So now you come forward, and certainly Arkansas has turned the corner and seems to be getting better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But part of getting better is upgrading the talent at various positions. That means all of the positions. And they've done that, I think. I think they've lost Phylon and those guys on the defensive side. They've upgraded that talent. I think the offensive line has certainly gotten better. What frustrated me about that offensive line last year is everybody bragged about how big and powerful they were, but those guys couldn't get 1 yard. There were a number of times Arkansas lined up to get 1 yard and couldn't do it. And they had Jonathan Williams and Albert Collins in the backfield. So that concerned me, and it still concerns me, that are they physical enough, because they're going to have to be physical in the SEC. You've got to play defense and run the football, and you've got to have a quarterback that can make big plays or that big throw when you need him. Go back and look at Alabama's team. Now, certainly Alabama's teams had a lot of talent, but those guys would make big throws at crucial periods. Now, why am I saying all of this? Unfortunately, Brandon Allen hasn't shown me anything where he can make a big throw in a crucial period since he's been on campus. And the question is, everybody said, well, Bobby Petrino recruited him. So what? He probably wouldn't have been starting because the guy can't throw. He can't throw it, I said earlier, he can't throw it in the ocean, sitting in a rowboat, and the rowboat is leaking. I'm sorry. Now, let me tell you something. Now, I know a lot of people get upset when you talk about people and they tend to take it personal. I'm not criticizing this young man's personality at all. I don't know him in person. I'm only criticizing his football skills that I've witnessed, that I've watched. And I'm not a casual football fan. I've made a living in sports. So I watch sports a little differently than most people. That's part of the reason I typically don't go to football parties. Because I don't want to sit... Look, let me tell you this. This past year, we had a football party. There were some people there at the house. Guess where I was sitting? In another room, watching the game basically by myself. That's just how I am. I watch football a little differently. I watch the offensive lineman. Okay? I know that's crazy. But I watch it a little differently. And based on what I've seen in Brandon Allen, the guy is no good. Now, he can be a serviceable quarterback, and certainly he's going to need to, look, he's going to have to play above his talent if that Arkansas Razorback team is going to do what everybody is predicting them to do, which I don't buy it. And the only reason I'm not buying it is because of Brandon Allen. And not only that, his brother Austin Allen is his backup. Let's go back to the Missouri game last year when Brandon Allen was injured and he couldn't even throw the football. It was pathetic. And they wouldn't even go to the second string quarterback. What does that say about the second string quarterback? Now, you've heard me rant on them, both those boys being from the same family, being from the same school in Northwest Arkansas, having scholarships at the Razorbacks. Maybe you get one of the kids, but you certainly don't get both of them. And both of them, their talent together, if you combine both of them, their talent as SEC caliber quarterbacks suck. Now, they may prove me wrong this year, but let me just put it this way. You know the kid Ricky Town that just came from USC, transferred to Arkansas, that will be eligible next year? I'm willing to bet you right now that Ricky Town will be ahead of Austin Allen next season on the depth chart. What does that tell you? They should have never been recruited. But be that as it may, they were. But they are bad football. They are bad quarterbacks. They're mediocre at best. And if the Razorbacks are going to win, they've got to do better. But for some reason, the local media has taken on this shield approach over the Allen boys. Oh, don't say anything bad about Brandon Allen. Don't say anything bad about Austin Allen. Give me a break. Since when is you can't criticize the quarterback? He gets all the glory when they win, so he needs to take all the pounding when they suck. And Brandon Allen sucks. I'm sorry, excuse the vernacular. But he is not an SEC caliber quarterback. He ought to be playing in Division I AA. No offense to the people that play there, because there's some great talent that comes out of those divisions. I played in those divisions. But Brandon Allen is not a SEC caliber quarterback. And for people here in the central Arkansas area and across Arkansas to be shielding him from criticism is ridiculous. Yeah, I know it's your show. I do a show. But here's the thing about my show as opposed to other people, is that anyone can call my show right now and be critical of any player. It's your voice, as long as you're respectful, as long as you don't use profanity, any of those things, you can call up and say what you want to say about any player. That's the way it should be. If you want to call up here and call dog the Cowboys, I might give you a prize for that. Sorry, JC. But no, that's what sports shows are all about. So when the local sports shows decide that they want to shield Brandon Allen from criticism, that's homerism gone too far. That's just homerism gone too far. Until that young man proves that he is worthy of the accolades that everybody is wishing upon him, he doesn't deserve to be talked about nicely. I'm just saying. That's another dynamic dish from Dynamic Dave Coleman. We got to go out and take another break. You're listening to the weekly sports magazine on joynetradio.com.
Miss Lady Magazine has been involved